Hello and welcome. The elves have long captured the human imagination, existing as creatures of legend, wisdom, and ethereal beauty. From ancient myths to modern fantasies, they are depicted as graceful beings, deeply connected to the natural world and endowed with ageless knowledge. But beyond these tales and portrayals lies a rich, intricate society that has thrived in harmony with nature for centuries, shaped by an unyielding commitment to balance, knowledge, and tradition. The elves' story is one of mystery, resilience, and a profound connection to the world that surpasses mere enchantment. To understand the elves is to glimpse a world that exists just beyond the edge of human perception. It's a world hidden within dense forests, atop mist-shrouded mountains, and beneath the starlit sky, a world governed by ancient principles and bound by a mystical force known as the Veil. Their lives are steeped in magic, but not the loud, fiery kind known to humans. It's a subtle, harmonious magic that mirrors the cycles of nature and the rhythms of the earth itself. This journey through elven history, culture, and realms will take us beyond mere fantasy and delve into the values, philosophies, and challenges that define elven life. Through chapters on their origins, spirituality, culture, enchanted realms, and enduring legacy, we will unravel the story of a people bound not just by ancestry but by purpose, a purpose that speaks to a higher understanding of nature, spirit, and the very fabric of existence. As we embark on this exploration, let us set aside our human perceptions and open our minds to the world of the elves, a world where time flows differently, beauty is both celebrated and revered, and the deepest truths lie hidden within the songs of trees, the whispers of wind, and the silence of starlit nights. This is the tale of the elves, a people both ancient and timeless, whose legacy continues to shape the lands they call home. Chapter 1: The Origins of Elves. In the tapestry of myth and legend, few creatures have captivated humanity's imagination as deeply as the elves. From ancient folklore to modern fantasy, the stories of these enigmatic beings have evolved, adapted, and endured across centuries. But who are the elves, truly? Where did their tales begin, and how did they become such iconic figures in human lore? This chapter explores the murky origins of elves, their first appearances in ancient mythologies, their evolution across cultures, and the timeless qualities that have made them a beloved, and sometimes feared, presence in the imaginations of people around the world. The story of the elves stretches far back into antiquity, where they emerged not as the benevolent, graceful figures familiar to us today, but as shadowy spirits intertwined with nature and magic. Early mentions of elves appear in Norse and Germanic mythology, where they were known as Alfar, a term that described beings who lived in hidden realms and wielded powerful, otherworldly abilities. These elves were not necessarily good or evil. They were beings of nature, unpredictable and capricious, sometimes aiding humans, but just as often acting as forces of mischief or even malice. In Norse texts, such as the Prose Edda and Poetic Edda, the elves are divided into two primary groups, the Light Elves and the Dark Elves. The Light Elves, or Ljósálfar, were beings of beauty and radiance, living in Alfheim, a realm of light and harmony. In contrast, the Dark Elves, or Dökkálfar, were mysterious entities associated with the underworld and dark places, often feared for their associations with death and misfortune. This duality of light and dark, of good and malevolent forces, would become a recurring theme in the lore of elves, shaping their legacy as powerful, ambiguous figures throughout history. In Germanic lore, the elves, or Albs, played similar roles as enigmatic forest dwellers and protectors of the wild. They were often tied to specific landscapes, especially deep forests, rivers, and mountains, places where human influence faded and the raw force of nature was most palpable. For ancient peoples, the elves symbolized the unknowable, unpredictable forces that lay beyond the borders of their settlements, both beautiful and dangerous in equal measure. As time passed, the idea of elves spread beyond the Norse and Germanic tribes and began to influence the folklore of other regions in Europe. By the Middle Ages, elves had become central figures in English, Irish, and Scottish traditions, taking on new attributes and personalities while retaining their supernatural aura. In Ireland, elves were often intertwined with the Aes Side, a race of fairy-like beings who lived inside mounds or hills believed to be entrances to the other world. These beings were guardians of ancient knowledge, nature spirits who could either bless or curse, depending on how they were treated by humans. Elves became closely associated with the natural landscape and ancient burial sites, symbolizing a bridge between the living world and the spirit realm. In Scotland, the Seelie and Unseelie courts emerged, two distinct courts of fairies with opposing natures. The Seelie court, like the Light Elves, was typically seen as benevolent, whereas the Unseelie court, much like the Dark Elves, was thought to be malicious and dangerous to humans. These court divisions highlighted a growing belief in the duality of elven beings, as entities of both light and dark, creation and destruction. This dual nature reflected the uncertainty of the natural world, a force that could nourish and inspire, but also harm and deceive. By the Renaissance, elves had become a part of courtly tales and high society in Europe, with poets and writers drawing inspiration from their mystery. William Shakespeare famously immortalized them in his play A Midsummer Night's Dream, where they were mischievous, humorous, and deeply intertwined with the natural world. The portrayal of elves as capricious, sometimes meddling creatures who could charm and beguile mortals helped cement their place in the English-speaking imagination. As human societies evolved, so too did the concept of elves. Increasingly, elves became symbols of otherness, representations of humanity's fears and desires, embodying what lay just beyond the limits of human understanding. For ancient people who depended on nature for survival, elves symbolized both the nourishing and dangerous aspects of the natural world. Later, as civilizations grew more complex, elves came to embody the tension between society and the wild, reflecting humanity's ambivalence toward the unknown. Elves were often seen as keepers of wisdom and ancient knowledge, possessing insights into the mysteries of the world that humans could only dream of. In this way, they became figures of aspiration and wonder, embodying the timeless allure of beauty, mystery, and magic. Yet, this reverence was tempered by caution. To seek too much from the elves or anger them could result in misfortune or ruin. This ambivalence mirrored the ways humans interacted with nature itself, taking what they needed but knowing that to overstep the boundaries could provoke the wild's wrath. Through this role as guardians of the natural world and the unknown, elves were both deeply feared and profoundly respected. They existed as a reminder of the thin line between civilization and chaos, between safety and danger, a line that humans have always navigated with equal parts wonder and trepidation. In modern times, elves have continued to evolve, taking on new meanings and forms in literature, film, and other media. J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings cemented the idea of elves as noble, ethereal beings with wisdom beyond human comprehension. In Tolkien's work, elves represent an ancient, nearly immortal race with a profound connection to nature and an abiding sorrow for the inevitable passage of time. Tolkien's elves are no longer mischievous sprites or malevolent spirits. They are noble, tragic, and wise, caught in an unending dance with the natural world they revere and protect. Since Tolkien, other writers, such as C.S. Lewis, J.K. Rowling, and many fantasy authors, have continued to explore the allure of elves, each adding new facets to their mythos. From magical, nature-bound protectors to fierce warriors, elves have become versatile figures in the fantasy genre, serving as both protagonists and antagonists in countless tales. The modern elf embodies humanity's complex relationship with nature, magic, and mystery. They are a reminder of the beauty, power, and danger that lies just beyond human reach, urging us to respect the world around us and embrace the magic that still lingers in the unseen corners of our lives. The origin of elves is a story woven from countless threads of mythology, culture, and imagination. Over time, they have transformed from shadowy spirits into symbols of wisdom, beauty, and magic, reflecting the ever-changing human fascination with the unknown. Elves are beings who straddle the boundary between the seen and unseen worlds, reminding us of nature's beauty and mystery, and the dangers that can lurk within it. In the chapters to come, we will delve deeper into the lives, societies, and cultures of elves, exploring their magic, customs, and beliefs. But here, at the beginning, we can see them as they first emerged, spirits of the earth and air, creatures of shadow and light, embodying both humanity's dreams and its fears. They are, at their core, a reflection of the wild itself, timeless, mysterious, and endlessly captivating. Chapter 2: Elven Society and Culture. Elves have long been portrayed as creatures with a society as complex and intricate as any human civilization. From ethereal realms hidden deep within enchanted forests to magnificent cities bathed in starlight, the elven way of life is marked by profound respect for nature, deep-seated traditions, and an unparalleled mastery of arts and craftsmanship. In this chapter, we journey into the heart of elven culture, discovering how these mystical beings organize their society, celebrate their beliefs, and pass down their wisdom through the ages. Elven society is known for its unique structure, where each elf has a role, often one they are bound to from birth. While this may vary between tribes or factions, most elven societies share common roles and hierarchies. High elves are often the aristocratic class within elven society, revered for their knowledge, wisdom, and ancient lineage. They are typically the guardians of elven traditions, embodying values such as honor, dignity, and restraint. Most high elves belong to noble houses or families that trace their lineage back to the ancient days. These families often hold considerable influence over elven society and governance, making critical decisions for the greater good of the community. High elves typically assume roles as scholars, diplomats, and philosophers. Their presence is particularly significant in times of strife when they serve as guides to the elven people. It is said that high elves have a heightened sensitivity to the currents of magic and time, and many are trained from a young age in the esoteric arts. Though they are a people of peace, elves understand the necessity of strength and vigilance. Among their ranks are warrior castes trained in the ancient arts of combat. Known for their agility, precision, and tactical prowess, these warriors are highly respected and occupy a crucial role as protectors of elven realms. In certain societies, the warriors form specialized guilds or orders, each with its own colors, symbols, and traditions. Some warriors serve as rangers, patrolling the borders of elven territories to ward off intruders, while others serve as guardians of sacred sites or ancient relics. It is common for warriors to undergo rigorous training from an early age, learning both physical combat skills and magical disciplines to enhance their abilities. Elven culture holds magic in high regard, seeing it as both a tool and a sacred force woven into the fabric of life itself. Mystics, or those gifted with strong magical abilities, are often entrusted with the stewardship of arcane knowledge, rituals, and spells. They serve as healers, seers, and advisors, offering guidance to both rulers and common folk alike. Elven Elven mystics are also keepers of lore, safeguarding the ancient histories of their people and recording the events of the present. They are storytellers and historians, dedicated to preserving the wisdom of the ages in the form of songs, tales, and scrolls. Their lore is considered a living entity, evolving over time as it is passed down, with new layers of meaning and interpretation added by each generation. Among elves, the creation of beauty is seen as a spiritual act, a way to honor both nature and the divine. Elven artisans are renowned for their unparalleled skill in crafting everything from weapons and armor to delicate jewelry and intricate tapestries. For an elf, creating an object is not merely a matter of function. Each item is imbued with intention and magic, reflecting the artisan's spirit. Elven craftsmen often use natural materials, such as wood, silver, crystal, and gemstones, sourced with care from the environment around them. Each item crafted by an elf is unique, a fusion of artistry, magical energy, and the natural world. Elven cities and dwellings are adorned with the work of artisans, creating an environment that is as beautiful as it is functional, seamlessly blending into the surrounding landscape. The elves have a deeply spiritual society, one that holds an abiding reverence for the world's natural forces. Their beliefs revolve around harmony with the elements, veneration of ancient deities, and a profound understanding of the cycle of life and death. At the core of elven spirituality is the belief that everything in the world is interconnected through a vast web of life. Elves do not see themselves as separate from the natural world, but as an integral part of it, a philosophy that influences every aspect of their existence. This respect for nature extends to animals, plants, rivers, and even the stones and soil. Many elven rituals involve paying homage to these natural forces, often through offerings, songs, or meditative practices. Elves also hold a belief in the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth, viewing time as a flowing river rather than a linear progression. This belief lends them a certain calmness, as they accept the passing of time and the inevitability of change. To an elf, death is not an end but a transition, and they treat it with solemn respect rather than fear. Elves revere a pantheon of deities known as the Ancients, each of whom represents a different aspect of nature and the cosmos. These gods are less personified than human deities. They are seen as embodiments of forces, such as the sun, the moon, the forest, or the stars. Elves do not necessarily worship these deities in a structured way, but instead show reverence through acts of creation, preservation, and respect for the world around them. One of the most sacred rituals in elven society is the Celestial Communion, a rare ceremony held only during special lunar alignments or solstices. During these times, elves believe that the barrier between their world and the realm of the ancients is thinnest, allowing for a deeper connection with the divine. This ritual often involves dance, song, and offerings, as the elves invite the energy of the ancients into their midst. For elves, magic is not a tool to be wielded lightly but a sacred force that flows through all things. They believe that magic is part of the natural world, woven into every leaf, stone, and breath of air. Elves are taught from a young age to respect this energy and to use it only for purposes that align with the natural order. Most elven magic revolves around subtle influences rather than displays of raw power. They might coax plants to grow, call on the elements for guidance, or use their abilities to heal rather than harm. However, some rare elves possess the skill to harness more potent forms of magic, capable of bending time, summoning spirits, or even glimpsing into possible futures. These individuals are often revered as shamans or sages, consulted in times of great need or uncertainty. Elven festivals are vibrant, elaborate affairs that celebrate the cycles of the moon, the changing seasons, and significant events within the community. These gatherings often last for days, filled with music, feasting, and the sharing of stories that connect the elves with their past and with one another. One of the most cherished festivals in elven culture is the Festival of Blossoms, a celebration of spring's arrival. During this time, elves adorn themselves and their surroundings with flowers and vines, giving thanks for the bounty of the earth. The festival includes music, dances, and elaborate floral displays, as well as a ritual in which young elves plant new trees and other flora to honor the land. Another significant celebration is the Night of Stars, a midsummer event during which elves gather to stargaze and meditate on their place in the universe. It is a time for introspection, where individuals reflect on their paths and seek guidance from the stars. Many elves believe that the stars are messages from the ancients, guiding them on their journeys and illuminating their fates. As the year draws to a close, elves observe the winter's vigil, a solemn period of reflection and rest. Unlike the other festivals, the vigil is a quieter event, marked by personal introspection and small gatherings. Elves use this time to remember their ancestors and honor loved ones who have passed on. The vigil serves as a reminder of the cycle of life and the ever-turning wheel of the seasons. The intricate society of the elves reflects their complex worldview, where every action, ritual, and role has purpose and meaning. Their culture is a testament to their reverence for nature, their respect for tradition, and their pursuit of wisdom. In their quiet dwellings and starlit cities, elves continue to preserve ancient customs and timeless values, living in harmony with the world they so deeply cherish. In the next chapter, we will explore the enigmatic realm of elven magic, delving into the secrets of their arcane practices, their philosophy of balance, and the mystical forces that shape their world. Chapter 3: The Mysteries of Elven Magic. Elven magic is one of the most fascinating and elusive aspects of their culture, revered not only by elves themselves but also admired, and sometimes feared, by others. This chapter explores the origins, philosophy, and applications of elven magic, shedding light on how it permeates nearly every aspect of elven society. For the elves, magic is not just a tool or a skill, it is a sacred force, a way of life, and a profound connection to the cosmos. Elves believe that magic is an integral part of the natural world, present in every tree, river, and breath of wind. Unlike other races who may view magic as a force to be controlled or conquered, elves see it as an energy to be harmonized with and respected. Elven magic flows from the veil, a metaphysical boundary between the physical and spiritual realms. This veil, according to elven lore, is the source of all life and connects every living creature to the divine energies of the universe. Elves believe that magic must be drawn from the veil carefully, with reverence and restraint. Overuse or misuse of this energy can lead to imbalance, both for the caster and the natural world around them. Because of this belief, elven magic practitioners undergo years of training, learning not only spells and techniques but also the philosophy and ethics behind their craft. This unique approach to magic, focusing on balance, intention, and respect, ensures that elves use their power in harmony with nature, rather than imposing their will upon it. The moon holds a special significance in elven magic, as it is believed to be the closest celestial body to the veil. According to ancient texts, the moon acts as a mirror, reflecting the energies of the veil onto the earth. As a result, the phases of the moon play a central role in elven magical practices, dictating when certain spells are most potent and when rituals should be performed. During the full moon, elven magic is at its strongest, and it is during this time that powerful spells and rituals are often conducted. Elves also believe that each phase of the moon has its own unique energy. The new moon represents beginnings and rebirth, the crescent moon fosters growth and healing, the full moon offers strength and illumination, and the waning moon symbolizes release and introspection. By aligning their magic with the lunar cycle, elves ensure that their actions are in sync with the natural ebb and flow of the world. Elven magic is as diverse as elven society itself, encompassing many different schools and practices. While each elf may specialize in a particular type, all are taught a foundational understanding of the main types of magic, ensuring that they have a balanced approach to their craft. One of the oldest and most respected forms of elven magic is elemental magic, which harnesses the power of the natural elements: earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. Elves believe that each element has its own personality, strengths, and limitations. For example, earth magic provides strength and stability, water magic offers adaptability and healing, fire magic brings courage and passion, and air magic imparts wisdom and clarity. Spirit, the rarest element, embodies the essence of life itself and is often considered too potent for casual use. Young elves start their training in elemental magic by connecting with each element in nature. For instance, an apprentice learning earth magic might spend weeks meditating in forests and caves, listening to the whispers of stones and trees. By developing this connection, elves learn to harness elemental energy in a way that respects the element's inherent power, using it for tasks as varied as healing, defense, and even creating temporary weather patterns. Healing magic is a fundamental part of elven culture, with many elves dedicating their lives to mastering it. Known as ELVES, this practice is rooted in empathy, patience, and deep knowledge of both the physical and spiritual aspects of the body. Healing magic often involves herbs, stones, and other natural elements, each chosen carefully for its inherent properties. Elven healers, or ELVES, use gentle spells to accelerate natural recovery processes, soothe pain, or mend injuries. ELVES are taught that true healing goes beyond mending physical wounds. It requires addressing imbalances within the mind and spirit. Because of this, elven healers often act as counselors, helping patients navigate emotional and mental traumas. Through this holistic approach, elves aim to restore the natural harmony of the body and soul, ensuring that both are in alignment with the veil. Elves are also renowned for their enchantment skills, creating items imbued with magical properties that enhance the beauty and functionality of everyday objects. Known as artifice, this practice requires patience, precision, and a deep understanding of materials. Elves use artifice to create everything from enchanted jewelry to powerful weapons, and even homes that seem to blend seamlessly with their forest surroundings. In elven society, an object is enchanted not only for practical purposes but also as an expression of respect for the craft. Each enchanted item is treated as a living entity, bonded with the materials it is made from, the intentions of its creator, and the magical energy imbued within it. Elven artifice is considered a highly esteemed art form, and master artificers are revered in elven society, often consulted in times of great need. Divination holds a revered place in elven culture, though it is practiced with caution. Elves believe that glimpses into the future are possible but must be approached with humility, as the future is not set in stone and is influenced by countless factors. The art of divination involves communing with the veil to receive visions, usually through meditation, crystal gazing, or reading the patterns of nature, such as the movements of birds, the flow of rivers, or even the shapes of clouds. Prophecy is rare and is generally considered a burden as much as a gift. Elves Elves with a talent for prophecy often live solitary lives, residing in secluded areas where they can interpret the signs without the distractions of daily life. Their predictions are taken seriously, and they are consulted only in times of great importance, when the future of the elven people is at stake. Magic is woven into the fabric of daily life for elves, expressed through rituals that connect them with nature, their ancestors, and the celestial bodies. These rituals vary widely, from simple daily practices to elaborate ceremonies held on sacred days. One of the most cherished elven rituals is the ritual of renewal, which is performed at the beginning of each season. During this ritual, elves gather to offer thanks to the elements and the ancients for the blessings of nature. They sing songs, make offerings of flowers, fruits, and other natural items, and invoke blessings for health, prosperity, and balance in the coming season. The ritual of renewal serves as a reminder of the elves' connection to the cycle of life and death, and of their role as stewards of the natural world. It is also a time for reflection, during which elves contemplate their personal growth and set intentions for the future. Elves often honor their ancestors through a sacred space known as the Grove of Ancestors, a carefully tended woodland area where the spirits of past generations are believed to dwell. It is customary for elves to visit the grove to seek wisdom, offer thanks, or simply reflect. The grove is considered a place of great power, and only those with a respectful purpose are permitted to enter. In the grove, elves leave offerings, small tokens, stones, or tokens of remembrance, as symbols of their respect and connection. It is here that many elves experience visions or moments of insight, feeling the presence of their ancestors as a gentle guidance from beyond the veil. Elves hold a unique philosophy regarding magic, emphasizing its responsible use and treating it with profound reverence. They believe that magic is a gift meant to be used in harmony with the world, not against it, and that abuse of magic can lead to dire consequences. Many elven stories warn of the dangers of ambition and greed, recounting tragic tales of those who misused their powers and paid a heavy price. This ethical framework is taught from a young age, instilling in each elf a sense of duty and respect for the natural world. Elves believe that to harm nature is to harm oneself, and therefore, they strive to use magic only when necessary and always with intention. This guiding principle shapes the entire structure of their magical practices, ensuring that they live in harmony with the natural world rather than bending it to their will. Elven magic is as multifaceted as the elves themselves, a force that is both beautiful and powerful, requiring wisdom, patience, and a sense of balance. From elemental manipulation to healing, enchantment, and divination, each type of magic reflects the elven reverence for nature and the Vale's sacred energies. In their hands, magic becomes not just a tool, but a profound expression of their place in the universe, a reminder that they are both creators and caretakers of the world. In the next chapter, we will venture further into the elven lands, exploring the diverse regions where elves reside, their homes hidden in enchanted forests, and their mystical cities that rise beneath the starlit skies. Chapter 4: Elven Realms and Settlements. The world of the elves is one of breathtaking beauty and mystique, filled with hidden groves, ancient forests, and ethereal cities that seem to transcend time. While the specific characteristics of elven realms vary according to the different elven tribes, there are common themes that bind them together: a deep respect for the land, a harmonious integration with nature, and an almost magical quality that makes their settlements seem like a world apart. This chapter delves into the unique landscapes and structures that make up elven territories and examines the philosophies that shape their approach to building and community. Elven culture is not a monolith, and their diverse realms reflect this. While many elves share similar values and customs, their realms vary based on the geography, climate, and local flora and fauna of their homelands. Here are some of the primary types of elven realms and the characteristics that define them. Perhaps the most iconic elven realms are the forest kingdoms, where tall trees tower overhead, their branches forming a natural canopy that filters sunlight into a dappled, emerald glow. These kingdoms are hidden within vast woods, often stretching for miles, with ancient trees that have stood for thousands of years. The architecture of these realms is built to blend seamlessly with the forest, utilizing natural materials such as wood, stone, and crystal. Elven dwellings within forest kingdoms are typically built into trees or atop branches, connected by delicate walkways that wind through the canopy. These homes are designed to be barely noticeable from a distance, respecting the forest's natural aesthetic and minimizing impact on the environment. The elves of the forest kingdoms live in harmony with the woodland creatures, and many of these animals have become their allies, serving as messengers, protectors, or even companions. The most sacred area within a forest kingdom is often an ancient tree, regarded as the heart of the forest. Elves believe that these trees are infused with the wisdom of the ages, and many gather here for rituals, ceremonies, or moments of reflection. Forest kingdoms are also protected by natural enchantments that deter outsiders, often making these realms appear as little more than dense, unremarkable woodlands to those who might stumble upon them. Some elven societies have made their homes within high mountain ranges, where steep cliffs, narrow passes, and hidden valleys form natural defenses against invaders. Mountain havens are usually built near or within caves, where the stone provides protection from the elements, and crystal formations amplify magical energy. These realms are renowned for their peace and isolation, allowing the elves to live free from the distractions and conflicts of the wider world. Elves in mountain havens often specialize in earth magic and mining, crafting intricate structures that merge with the mountain landscape. Crystal caverns are particularly significant, as elves believe these formations are connected to the veil, enhancing magical abilities and aiding in meditation. Mountain havens are also known for their high-altitude gardens, where elves cultivate rare plants and herbs with unique magical properties. These plants are often used in healing or alchemical practices, and their potency is believed to be influenced by the mountain's altitude and energy. Mountain elves are also adept at navigating and defending the rugged terrain, with ranger guilds that patrol the high passes and pathways. They are known for their resilience and resourcefulness, possessing a profound connection to the rocks and earth. Despite the harsh conditions, these mountain havens are sanctuaries of peace and contemplation, cherished for their quiet beauty and remoteness. Elven coastal settlements are found along shorelines, where the ocean meets the land in a harmony of salt and spray. Here, the elves build their homes near beaches, cliffs, or even upon floating islands of coral and rock. These settlements are known for their fluid architecture, with structures that curve and flow like waves, crafted from shells, coral, and driftwood. Elves of the coast are deeply connected to the ocean, and many are adept at water magic, using it to communicate with marine life, control tides, or purify seawater. Coastal elves have developed a form of travel based on enchanted watercraft, which allows them to move swiftly across the waves. They are skilled fishers and traders, often exchanging rare shells, pearls, and seaweed with other elven communities. Coastal settlements are particularly vulnerable to storms and other natural disasters, so elves here have developed powerful weather-moderating enchantments that protect their homes from the ocean's more unpredictable aspects. Some coastal elves are also known for their connection to water spirits, and legends tell of encounters with mysterious beings that dwell within the depths. These settlements have a more open relationship with other cultures, as they often serve as trading posts for travelers who have earned the elves' trust. At the heart of elven society lies a rare form of settlement known as the Starlit City, an ethereal realm illuminated by the light of the stars and moon. These cities are thought to exist in liminal spaces, sometimes on the border between the physical and spiritual worlds. Built from silvery stone, glass, and enchanted crystals, starlit cities are said to glow faintly at night, giving them an otherworldly quality. Elves living in starlit cities are often practitioners of high magic, and many spend their lives studying complex spells and ancient texts. The cities are arranged in spiral or circular patterns that mirror the constellations, reflecting the elves' reverence for the stars. Elven astronomers and mystics reside here, using these cities as a place for observation and study, as they believe the stars carry messages from the ancients and guide the elves' future. These cities are rarely accessible to outsiders, as they are often protected by powerful enchantments that keep them hidden. Only the most trusted individuals are allowed entry, and even then, only under specific circumstances. Starlit cities are seen as places of wisdom and learning, where elves come to seek enlightenment and guidance from the celestial forces. Elven architecture is characterized by elegance, harmony, and a seamless blend with the natural environment. Rather than imposing structures upon the land, elves work with the landscape, designing buildings that seem to grow from the earth itself. This architectural approach is seen as both an aesthetic choice and a spiritual practice, an expression of the elves' respect for nature and their desire to live in balance with it. Elves primarily use organic materials in their architecture, such as wood, stone, crystal, and metals found naturally in their surroundings. Structures are often built to blend into their environment, making them appear as extensions of the trees, mountains, or cliffs in which they reside. This design philosophy ensures that their homes do not disrupt the natural landscape but rather contribute to its beauty. For example, a tree dwelling in a forest kingdom might be crafted around the branches of a massive oak, incorporating leaves and vines as natural decorations. Likewise, a mountain haven may feature doorways and windows carved directly into the rock, with pathways that wind around natural formations. Coastal settlements may include open walls that allow the ocean breeze to pass through, connecting the inhabitants to the ebb and flow of the sea. Elven settlements are often illuminated by subtle magical lights, with crystals or enchanted stones placed strategically to provide a soft, natural glow. In starlit cities, enchanted orbs of light float gently along pathways, mirroring the stars above and providing gentle illumination without disturbing the natural darkness. This approach to lighting is both functional and symbolic, as elves believe that harsh or artificial light disrupts the energy of the environment. By using enchanted illumination, they maintain a sense of mystery and beauty, creating an atmosphere that feels as if one has stepped into a dream. Despite the vast distances between elven settlements, elves have developed sophisticated methods of transportation and communication that allow them to maintain connections across realms. One of the most intriguing aspects of elven transportation is the use of magical portals and waystones, which allow for instantaneous travel between distant locations. Waystones are enchanted stones placed at specific points within elven realms, each inscribed with symbols that align with the veil. By activating these stones, elves can travel across great distances in moments, making it possible to journey between the forest kingdoms, mountain havens, and coastal settlements with ease. For communication, elves often rely on a combination of messenger birds and telepathic networks. Trained messenger birds, often enchanted to increase their speed and endurance, are a common means of sending messages across distances. These birds are attuned to specific magical frequencies, allowing them to find their intended recipient regardless of their location. In addition, some elven mystics maintain telepathic networks, enabling high-ranking individuals or mystics to communicate directly over long distances. This form of telepathic communication requires intense focus and training, as it involves projecting thoughts across the veil. This technique is reserved for urgent messages or when conventional means of communication are insufficient. The elven realms are a testament to their respect for the natural world, their architectural skill, and their mastery of magical arts. From hidden forest groves to the radiant starlit cities, elven settlements reflect the balance and harmony that lie at the core of elven philosophy. These lands are not just places to live, but sacred spaces, imbued with the spirit of the ancestors and connected to the rhythms of nature. In the next chapter, we will delve into the historical events that have shaped elven society, from ancient wars to alliances, and the trials that have tested the resilience of the elven people. Chapter 5: The Trials of Time and the Legacy of Elven History. Elven history is a tapestry woven from millennia of triumph, loss, resilience, and wisdom. The events that have shaped elven society reflect their values, strengths, and the challenges they have faced from both external forces and internal conflicts. This chapter explores the pivotal moments in elven history, examining how these trials have impacted their culture, traditions, and identity. It also considers the legacy the elves continue to build and how they seek to preserve their place in a constantly changing world. Elven society was once isolated from other civilizations, and for countless centuries, they lived in their hidden realms, rarely encountering other races. This era, known as the Age of Isolation, was marked by peace, prosperity, and a deep focus on cultural and spiritual growth. During this time, the elves honed their magical abilities, developed their art and architecture, and cultivated profound wisdom. They built their realms in harmony with nature, establishing a society rooted in balance and respect for the land. The Age of Isolation allowed the elves to evolve without the pressures of war or conquest. However, this isolation also left them unprepared for the emergence of other races and the eventual encroachment of human and dwarven territories. As other civilizations grew and expanded, elves began to encounter outsiders who saw their lands as resources to be claimed and exploited. The end of the Age of Isolation marked the beginning of a new era, as the elves realized they could no longer remain entirely separate from the world. They would have to adapt, defend their territories, and negotiate alliances if they wished to preserve their way of life. The first major conflict between elves and another race was with the dwarfs during the First War of the Realms. While relations between the two races had initially been neutral, tensions grew as both expanded their territories. The dwarfs, skilled miners and craftsmen, began to encroach upon the mountains and forests the elves considered sacred. The dwarfs saw these areas as sources of precious metals and stones, while the elves viewed them as essential to the balance of nature. The resulting conflict lasted decades, with both sides suffering heavy losses. The dwarfs' mastery of stone and metal clashed with the elves' magic and agility, leading to a series of battles that devastated landscapes and strained resources. The First War of the Realms served as a harsh introduction to the realities of external conflict for the elves, who had rarely engaged in large-scale warfare before. Eventually, the two races reached a fragile peace, recognizing the futility of prolonged fighting. They established the Treaty of Stone and Branch, which delineated the territories each race would claim, allowing them to coexist with minimal interference. This treaty marked the beginning of an uneasy truce, and while relations between elves and dwarfs remained strained for centuries, both races learned to respect one another's strengths and territories. Following the First War of the Realms, the elves recognized the need to forge alliances with other races to ensure their survival. This led to the formation of the Alliance of the Elder Races, an unprecedented coalition between elves, dwarfs, and other ancient beings, including the mysterious Fae and certain tribes of giants. This alliance was created in response to a common threat: the rise of the Shadow Lords, a faction of dark sorcerers and creatures that sought to dominate all realms. The Alliance of the Elder Races marked a turning point in elven history, as it required them to step outside their isolated world and interact with other cultures. While there were significant cultural and philosophical differences between the allied races, they found common ground in their desire to protect their lands and their people. This alliance led to the development of joint military strategies, shared knowledge, and diplomatic channels that would endure long after the threat of the Shadow Lords had passed. One of the most significant outcomes of the alliance was the creation of waystones, magical stones that allowed for quick travel and communication across vast distances. These waystones, developed by elven and dwarven enchanters, became vital for the alliance's coordination and remain an integral part of elven society to this day. The alliance's victory over the Shadow Lords solidified the bonds between these races, leading to an era of relative peace and mutual respect. Despite the peace that followed the alliance of the Elder Races, elven society was not without internal conflict. One of the most painful episodes in elven history was the Second Sundering, an event that resulted from betrayal within their own ranks. A powerful faction of elves, known as the Astray, believed that the elves had become too weak and complacent due to their alliances and compromises with other races. They saw this as a betrayal of elven purity and a threat to their culture. The Astray sought to sever all ties with other races and return to a period of strict isolation, even if it meant waging war against those who had once been allies. Their ambitions led to a violent conflict within elven society, with families and communities torn apart by differing beliefs. The Astray's actions led to the Second Sundering, a period of civil war that saw the elven population divided and weakened. Eventually, the Astray were defeated, but the cost was high. The Second Sundering left deep scars on elven society, and many communities were devastated by the conflict. While the remaining elves eventually reconciled and began to rebuild, the betrayal had lasting effects, causing a lingering sense of mistrust and caution in their dealings with outsiders. The Second Sundering remains a painful memory, a reminder of the dangers of division and extremism within elven society. Today, the elves remain a symbol of resilience and wisdom, with a legacy that extends far beyond their hidden realms. Despite the conflicts and challenges they have faced, they continue to preserve their culture, their values, and their way of life. Elves are often regarded as guardians of nature, scholars of ancient knowledge, and masters of magic, admired by other races for their grace, intellect, and commitment to balance. The legacy of the elves is one of stewardship, as they see themselves as protectors of the world's beauty and natural harmony. Elven magic, knowledge, and art have influenced countless cultures, and their teachings continue to inspire those who seek wisdom and harmony. Yet, they remain cautious, aware of the risks of too much interaction with the outside world and the dangers of forgetting their own identity. In recent times, some elves have chosen to venture beyond their traditional realms, becoming emissaries, scholars, and explorers. They are driven by a desire to understand and contribute to the world beyond their own borders, seeking to bridge the gap between races while honoring the traditions and values of their ancestors. These elves are seen as ambassadors of their culture, embodying the grace, wisdom, and resilience of their people. Elven history is a testament to their strength, adaptability, and commitment to balance. Through ages of isolation, conflict, alliance, and betrayal, the elves have endured, guided by a sense of purpose and an unwavering connection to the natural world. Their history is filled with both beauty and tragedy, with each event adding depth to their culture and shaping the legacy they leave behind. The elves' journey is far from over, as they continue to navigate the complexities of a world that is constantly changing. They remain vigilant, guardians of ancient knowledge and protectors of the natural world, ready to face whatever challenges may come. Their legacy is one of wisdom, harmony, and resilience, a legacy that will endure as long as there are forests, mountains, and starlit skies to shelter them. The elves' story is one of mystery, resilience, and beauty, a tale as intricate and enduring as the ancient forests they call home. They are guardians of the natural world, stewards of ancient wisdom, and keepers of powerful magic. From the sacred groves of their forest realms to the ethereal starlit cities, the elves have built a civilization that is both timeless and deeply rooted in the harmony of nature. Their history is a living song, whispered through leaves, carried on mountain winds, and woven into the shimmer of starlight. Yet, for all their elegance and wisdom, the elves are not merely symbols of a mythical past, they are part of a dynamic present and an uncertain future. The elves' story reminds us that harmony with nature and respect for ancient wisdom are paths to strength, not weakness. Through ages of isolation, alliances, conflict, and reconciliation, they have shown that peace does not come without vigilance, nor does wisdom without sacrifice. The legacy of the elves endures, not only in their hidden realms but also in the stories passed down by other cultures who have glimpsed their beauty, their resilience, and their grace. The elves remain, both a mystery and a marvel, singing their eternal song, a song of life, balance, and the unbreakable connection between the spirit and the world. As the world changes around them, the elves continue to walk their path, honoring their ancestors, protecting their lands, and facing each new age with the grace and wisdom that have become their legacy. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.